This week has not gone the way I had planned. Everything was going so good on Sunday. And then Penelope started feeling bad again on Monday. She was doing so good Saturday and Sunday after she finished her antibiotics, but it seemed like it probably wasn't enough. Like she needed another dose. So on Tuesday, I was able to get a hold of the veterinarian's office and I got another prescription of the antibiotics, thankfully, because they knew I wasn't able to get her in the carrier and get her there. With her being as feral as she is and pregnant, the last thing I want to do is stress her out if I already kind of know what's going on. And I'm able to communicate that with the veterinary office and let them know what's going on. So that's why I'm able to get help as far as prescription medication for her. What ended up being a major problem, which I didn't have the first go around when she was on the antibiotics, was that she didn't even want to eat. She was at that point where she was so congested in her nose, and it happened so fast that she couldn't even smell her food. So she didn't want to eat. And that was how I was giving her her medication. I would mix it up in some wet food in the morning and at night, and that's how she got her dose. And it worked out great the first time, but this time it was a little bit more of a challenge. She wasn't taking wet food either, and it had been probably almost 24 hours since I had seen that she had had food. So I was getting desperate. Like, all right, I'm going to do whatever I got to do to get her in the carrier the next day, which would have been yesterday, and get her there, whether she tears me up or not. You know, I just wanted to make sure I could help her. That's when my background with respiratory therapy kicked in. I was never a licensed respiratory therapist. I had worked in CT and I was going to school for respiratory therapy back when I broke my ankle and ended up having to go a whole nother direction with my life. Anyways, I did get some experience with that, as well as being asthmatic and my son being asthmatic as well. So I had a little bit of knowledge of how everything works in the, your lungs and all of that. I knew that it wasn't safe to just medicate her with albuterol through the nebulizer or anything like that, because I didn't want to take that chance myself. I thought, that's just a little too risky. But I started thinking about what I would do for my son when I was just trying to give him some relief with his asthma without using the albuterol. I went to CVS and I got some simple saline. I stuck it in the nebulizer and I thought, maybe this will work if she'll let me get close enough to her. I was super worried that she was going to be scared of the noise that the machine makes, but she surprised me, and I was able to get probably 10 to 12 minutes of the mist going at her without her getting upset. She was so relieved, and there was a point when it was almost done, you could just see the snot coming out of her nose, and it was so hard for me to not reach in and just wipe her face. I learned not to do that though, because she will scratch me. But she took care of it herself, and I watched her clean it off of her face, and you could see the relief. She was just so relieved, and I left her after that for about 15 minutes to see how she was, how she would do. And then I came back to check on her. Since she was doing so well, I mixed up some baby food for her. I get the meat flavor, like the beef and the chicken, and I mixed it up in her medication so that she can still smell that. Well, she was sort of smelling it now that she could breathe a little through the one nostril. And it's soft enough and it's not heavy on her stomach so that it doesn't affect her lungs or anything and make her feel, stuffed. Anyways, she ate that up and I was just so happy. I was able to get the medication in her, also a little bit of nutrients, so that made me feel so much better. This morning I went back out there to check on her again and to give her another breathing treatment with the saline solution, and she did wonderful that time too. I got her some more baby food with her medication. She ate it up. So I feel like we're back where we need to be at, and I think she's going to be okay this go round. I think she really does need to have that for a little while though, those saline treatments, just to keep her from getting to, I want it to drain. So between that and the antibiotics, I really think that's going to be the best solution. I'm not going to overdo it. I'm just going to do it morning and evenings until she's feeling better. But I just wanted to share that with you all because you've been here with me from the beginning of Penelope's journey, and I just want to be as transparent as possible. And maybe this is something that will help somebody else in the future if you have a cat that has some congestion going on. I always recommend that you go to your veterinary office, you get their recommendations first. I am not a vet. I'm just sharing my experiences. Have a wonderful day. Bye.